Hello, what is up everyone? It is I, the one and only Maxi here, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Banjo-Tooie for the Nintendo 64 / Xbox Live Arcade from the likes of the Xbox 360, Xbox One, and of course Xbox Series X and Series S, depending on what specific model you get. So, last time, I believe, we pretty much explored through the second world in the game, which appears to be by the forms of Glacier Gulch Mine, and despite we haven't exactly 100% everything in that world yet, due to the fact that we've only got 2 Jiggies left, and also we've only got 1 Jinjo left. And as a result though, and also we did manage able to went into Mayhem Temple for the final visit, by able to actually obtain the final Jiggy on that particular world. And as a result though, we did that pretty okay and all that stuff. Well, usually despite the fact that I have to quickly wander around, like, usually I have no idea what I was expecting to find something, mainly for like the extra honeycomb piece or something like that, but regardless of such, I did manage to found it nonetheless. So, yeah, today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be hitting on to the forms of the next new world that is actually in this game, and that's what appears to be Witchyworld. Now, this appears to be like something like a circus, or let's just say like an amusement park kind of level or something. Oh, and by the way, this is another one of those items you can pick up, and now what appears to be those random honeycomb. And basically, this will actually activate kind of the same thing as the forms of how it does it on the time stop honeycomb, except it just goes all over the place, because get it? Because that item is kind of random. So either way though, yeah, there's not much else we can say about the forms of today, apart from the fact that today's day is of course the 8th of September today, in this case in 2021 today, and sure enough though is the fact that we've only got about 2 more days to go until specifically, well, while we were getting together for the Nintendo Switch will be releasing until 2 days. So, and also, do you remember how Mighty has mentioned about the fact that, well, generally speaking, that Sonic Colors Ultimate did recently came out yesterday? Well, he did accidentally say about the fact that we did done the unboxing video of it, but turns out, I'm pretty sure that his brain has gone crazy all of a sudden, just because, as I mentioned this before, our retail copy of the game, in this case the forms of the physical version of the game, has been delayed until the beginning of October. So because of that, I do apologize for that, especially noticeable because I was so looking forward to able to play that game again, in HD remastered and stuff like that. But unfortunately though, whenever I did manage to pre-order the game physically, along with the Baby Sonic keychain, unfortunately though it's been delayed, so unfortunately I have to wait for a long while, so yeah, that kind of feels a little bit of a stinker for that department right there, but either way, that's as far as I can usually try to say about this for the most part. So anyway, and speaking of Sonic Colors Ultimate though, is the fact that, do you remember the forms of how the fact that, well, generally speaking, that for those of you guys who managed able to got the digital deluxe version back in the 3rd of September on Friday, unfortunately though, well, it's not so bad on the PS4 version along with the Xbox One version, but the Switch version on the other hand though, just feels like a bit of a mess. Back in the day that is, and during the course of, well, on last Friday, because, not only because of the forms of, well, there might be some, you know, slower frame rate here and there, but also it has a whole bunch of bugs and glitches on the Switch version. Stuff like the forms of seizure reducing, and also graphical glitches, and also the audio doesn't seem to come up every time you use the wisps, or to be more specifically, that the UI system is okay, for I've seen the footage of it. And also as a result though, about the fact the matter is though, is that I will have to admit though, some of these remix tracks are okay, but nothing amazing to me though, just because I much rather prefer the original soundtrack over a bit more than the remix versions of some of this musics themselves. So, but then again though, you know what I'm saying. So even then though, I do apologize if my commentary gets a little bit iffy points again, just because, well, unfortunately though, that we won't be able to actually see the Nintendo Direct anytime soon until, well, at least if I recall correctly, until next week or something, if we're about to be able to do the more continuation parts of this game specifically, so I just want to able to classify that. So either way, let's just go ahead and grab some more music notes all the way around while trying to avoid those little slot machine enemies, and well, there's nothing we can do with those enemies until specifically later on. So either way though, let's just go ahead and use a talent trot just in case we can able to run a bit faster. And actually, kind of think about it, there's actually that particular useful ability that we can do, but we'll deal with all that later. So let's just climb up to that ladder over there, and oh, the Inferno. I might be interested with the Inferno environment. So anyway, so we have to climb all the way higher up. Oh gosh, this is gonna be the highest height ever. Like, kind of like you did in the forms of well, in Treasure Trove Cove, except, well, we have to be very careful, because if you lose balance onto this though, then as long as you would see the drop shadow, you'll be fine. But if you don't pay attention to the actual drop shadow at all, then you fall off to death. So yeah, you don't want to let that happen, don't you? So, and before we get into that though, we need to grab some even more music notes in that particular pool bucket, or that, you know, dive of death, as far as what it says on here. So yeah, for the most part, that I will have to admit though right away is that Witchyworld is pretty cool looking. Especially noticeable that it always reminds me of the forms of well, the dreaded world of Super Monkey Ball Adventure called Zootopia. But then again though, that, well, we're not gonna touch that game for whatever, because, well, Super Monkey Ball Adventure sucks. So anyway, and as you can see, we actually stumbled across a new ability, as you can see on screen, is the Split Up. And basically what this means is that you can able to not only just try to able to separate those two characters, both Banjo and Kazooie, but also you can able to take control of either Banjo alone or Kazooie alone. So as a result, that is a cool feature. Especially noticeable that the only way you can do it is the fact that you have to find those specific paths between both Banjo's face along with Kazooie's face. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And yeah, there might be some situations during the course of the later portion of the game that if you're trying to obtain several of those jiggies in mind, then as a result, that you can probably guarantee that you can able to actually just try to find some even more jiggies if you're trying to do some split ups here and there. So anyway, so let's go ahead and trying to be very careful not to screw this up. And sure enough, we're able to not only, excuse me, that not only do we able to, oh wait, okay, phew, that was actually quite a close one. But there we go, we got ourselves our Ginger right here. So thankfully at least we got her. However though, there might be some other worlds in this game that usually that we might able to come across into quite a few familiar Jinjos until later on, but usually, relatively speaking, they might act out a lot differently, which, because of that though, we'll point it out until specifically whenever we keep on collecting some more Jinjos, until specifically later on in the world, along with the forms of the Isle of Hinks and stuff like that. So, but I digress. And also until that time tomorrow, that the PlayStation 5 showcase presentation should be up until tomorrow. So either way though, unfortunately though, I don't think I can probably mention more about it, because obviously that obviously I'm trying to mainly focusing on the forms of the next Switch game that's gonna come out on this Friday, which is of course WarioWare Get It Together on the Friday and stuff like that. And also same applies to the forms of Sonic Colors Ultimate, like I mentioned earlier, and also Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania that was going to be up. So, and also Mario Party Superstars as well. So even then though, speaking of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, that apparently though, that some of these Twitter posts on Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania does already showcase off every single levels in during the course of I would say the majority of them are in story mode, and from what I've seen the actual environments on in Gorgeous Remastered for the first time, and I'm gonna say it looks stunning to look at, especially noticeable that from what I've seen several other stages, and oh man, it just looks so good. Especially noticeable that it's way up there. And then even then though, I just really still can't wait able to actually play that game. So either way, and yeah, speaking of such though, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. Are you guys maybe looking forward until the entire presentation of the PlayStation 5 showcase presentation? Because sure enough, they were able to actually bring some new stuff to the table for the PlayStation 5. Although, I don't know if they might able to actually bring the Slim model or something, but then again though, we have to wait until exactly in the future. Although, usually relatively speaking, there's not much else I can honestly try to talk about, so either way. And also I did manage to able to finish my run-through of Super Mario Sunshine on my own time on the 3D All-Stars compilation game. So because of that though, hopefully we should probably do the 3D All-Stars Let's Play at some point next year. Although, it might be seems unnecessary at first. Oh, and by the way, if you get into this particular tent right there, then basically this will happen. And it looks like, oh, we're about to get beaten up. So yeah, don't go in there because obviously that will be kind of nasty if you go in there. So yeah, you might as well be able to ignore that entirely. So anyways, let's go ahead and keep on exploring around for a bit. And obviously there's nothing we can do in there at the moment, unless if we try to keep on activating those warp pads until we're able to actually traverse into different travels to the other. So either way though, let's just go ahead and grab some more even notes over there. And, it's just a billboard, so whoever needs that, honestly. So, either way. And, I believe there's actually another move that we can able to learn, and that's what appears to be, Airborne Egg Aim. So, that'll be kind of useful, though, even for other Jiggies we need to collect. So, in this particular move is the fact that as soon as you get in the air, basically you can able to actually do the first person view, just like the forms of how it does it on the ground. So yeah, it's very similar for that regard. So, and it looks like that Maddie Me Grunty's tent is now open, but we'll skip that for now because obviously that you know, that tent is pretty dangerous, which yeah, because you might as well be able to get beaten a lot, assuming if you're able to actually realize that well, it's kind of hard to say, really, because either way, though, I know it has been, like, well, 2 days ago since I've last touched this, because obviously that I was expecting to be able to actually just to let, you know, Mighty were able to still go back onto Wario Land 3, and of course, Jewel's gonna be still working on Mario Party 6, well, she already has done, so either way, though, we can expect this much, and, yeah. Alright, so we'll grab some more feathers, which at this point in time, we only got a maximum at the moment, so there's nothing to worry about this, honestly. I mean, but generally speaking, we can probably hit inside in there, so let's see what's in here then. Oh god, we got ourselves the forms of the haunted cavern, and oh god, it's all pitch black and darkness again. Just like the forms of how it does in one of those segments in, well, the second world, so... In fact, kind of thinking about it though, this part does remind me of the forms of that one segment in Donkey Kong 64, where you play as like Chunky Kong and everything, and then you have to be able to navigate for that the Darkness Cavern and stuff like that. So, but either way, you probably get the idea about that specific stuff. So, oh god, Gobi looks a lot older than the forms of how it does in the first game. Well, usually relatively speaking, he got stuck inside a cage, so if you're probably wondering how we're supposed to do that. Well, remember the forms of those grenade eggs that we've already gotten through from the likes of the last video? Well, we can able to actually use the grenade eggs to able to blow up some of these, well, some of the cages up. So either way, we can able to actually just to go into, well, let's just say the first person view, and we can able to aim it at the cage, and that should free him. So, and it looks like he's about to be saying he'll meet us on the lava world. So, yeah, that won't be happening until for a while. So, but either way, but that doesn't end off here, because there's also other 2 cages we can bust out through, such as that one over there, that we can able to free one of those dinosaurs. So, yeah, that's actually pretty swell. And also, not only that, we can able to free another Jinjo that is trapped inside the cage. So, thankfully this is all real and everything for that Jinjo right there. But then again, until in the future worlds that we might able to stumble across into berserk variations of those Jinjos basically. So likely, for instance, that assuming if we're able to stumble across into the forms of another one of those sections in Witchyworld, but then again we'll have to wait and see what happens there until specifically later on. Oh god, that was actually really close. Especially noticeable about the fact that, wow, I almost couldn't see anything because, well, usually relatively speaking, in order able to actually see the path, well, basically, so you have to be able to let, I would say one of those green spirits or something like that can able to actually fly above from the actual, like, a path or something, and that way you can able to actually just to see what's going on in the path. So, also another thing I want to mention about this as well, excuse me, about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that until specifically on Friday, the same day as the forms of WarioWare Get It Together on the Switch will be releasing, that the new Spirit event on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to be on its way, and this time around it's going to be involved around the 20th anniversary of the Nintendo GameCube event, which by that time until specifically on, I would say on the 14th of September, and that actually represents about the fact that, specifically in Japan, that the GameCube will be become 2 decades old in Japan. So, yeah, time really does fly, doesn't it? Especially noticeable that I would love to be able to celebrate it, but unfortunately though, there's nothing we can do for the game collections for a very long time at the moment, just because, well, obviously, well, let me know in the comments below about the fact that do you want me to able to do the updated version of my video game collection videos? Just because since I no longer have so many other games, and I actually got some of these other ones as well, so I'd like to hear your thoughts about the comments below, because not only because of the fact that some of these video game collection videos are, well, pretty good for the most part, and especially noticeable that the views count, especially on the 3DS game collection video, has gone like, I'm not gonna lie, pretty dang high. But at the same time, in several other videos, that sometimes we felt like a robot. Like, for instance, that I believe Daffy Duck, he almost becomes a robot for his voice, and also say applies to, well, I will classify for saying Mega Man or Piglet for that matter, that also sounds like a robot whenever they did manage to did done in collection videos before, including Twilight Sparkle as well. So yeah, we definitely need to fix that at some point, or maybe we can able to do the updated version of that specifically to the game collection videos and stuff like that. So it still applies to the consoles as well, just because, well, for that point of view is the fact that we actually did manage to collect quite a few game consoles in the past. Like, usually, I don't think we can able to actually get any new game consoles anytime soon now, just because, well, then again though, I'm basically happy as it is. So, especially noticeable that, well, despite that the Switch OLED model is going to be almost come out until about a month left now, so either way though, despite, it's exactly the same as the normal model, except with a 7-inch screen and also a much better kickstand, and even especially noticeable with a much more better battery life, and heck, even with the forms of the fact that with the 64 gigabytes internal storage. So, but either way though, we'll see what happens in the future. So either way, let's just go ahead and well, continue things on here, and we can probably get into there, so that way we would be able to actually stumble across into, I would classify for saying, the forms of the train station. So because of that, since we've actually stumbled across the second train station, so this means that, well, we can now able to actually use the trains now. So because of that though, because usually relatively speaking, as I mentioned this before, some of these worlds are hugely connected to each other, so because of that though, it's kind of hard to say about this honestly, just because I know it has been, you know, quite a few days since I actually did manage to able to play this game from time to time, so because of, you know what I mean, so. And also about the fact that, until specifically, until next month anyway, as well. Okay, so we got ourselves that particular, the timer stop, honeycomb right there, as far as I realized. So anyway, and also another thing I want to discuss upon, and that's the fact that until specifically also in next month as well, not only does Metroid Dread for the Switch is about to be releasing as well, but also we got ourselves our new trailer for the Netflix exclusive film yet again, and this time it's going to be involved around the forms of Pokemon the Movie 23, The Secrets of the Jungle, and well, to be more specifically, the English version of the film, so that's, for I've seen a trailer of the film, it still kind of reminds me of Tarzan because of the forms of, Coco feels like a, well, you know, the rays of the, well, you know, the ruler of the jungle and stuff like that, and so it applies to George of the Jungle, and, also not to mention, though, I think that's pretty much as far as I can say, honestly. Not only because we actually got ourselves our English trailer of the film, and it's once again exclusive to Netflix for the time being, well, just like in forms of how it does it on Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, and, also, we finally got ourselves the release date in the English release, and it's gonna be on, well, 8th of October in this year specifically. So because of that, I'm still looking forward to it though, especially noticeable after countless amount of months that we're still waiting for it, even though, mind you, the Japanese version already came out during the course of 2020, by the end of 2020, during Christmas time. So either way though, that pretty much something I suppose. But still, I'm really looking forward to that film that's about to be releasing. So yeah, between the forms of My Little Pony A New Generation and Pokemon the Movie 23, Secrets of the Jungle, I'm actually really looking forward to both of those on Netflix, for the sake of time. And also say it applies to No Time to Die on the big screen. So yeah, I pretty much expect it for that point. So, oh, and by the way, something worth noting for is the fact that every once in a while, there might be some enemy respawns, if you can see on screen, that basically what that represented with is that if you manage to deal with an enemy by that specific time, basically the enemies do manage to respawn now. So because of that though, something's worth classifying for noticing this, so yeah, that's not much right to hum about. So anyways, I don't think we could do anything in there at the moment until specifically later on, so we'll save this up until, well, specifically in the future. So now we can able to actually access to the train from ever since in the World 2, so that means we can now able to do some more stuff from the train station. So anyway, and speaking of such though, is the fact that, well, actually there's not much else I can say about that, but anyway, yeah, another thing I want to classify for something, and that's the fact that, well, obviously since today, that we got ourselves our new tour from Mario Kart Tour today, and because of that though, it's gonna be in Sydney Tour. In this case, the part 2 of the Sydney Tour, and basically we got the second part of Sydney Tour track, and also we actually got ourselves not one, but 2 new drivers that we can able to interact with. Like, for instance, the pink Yoshi, which only be accessible if you managed able to get, like, you know, the high scores and stuff like that on certain cups in between. And also that we actually got ourselves our new variation, in this case a cosmetic character, and that's what appears to be Yoshi, but in a kangaroo form. And I was like, okay, that does look pretty cool, and pretty cute with all that, you know, the kangaroo ears and stuff like that. But sadly, I still haven't got it due to the fact that the game decides to go RMG on me. Which, because of that though, because of the stupid gacha moments. And as a result though, I just keep on, like, hating that system. So because of that though, well, I'm sure that Jewel will mention more about it until when she goes back onto Mario Party 6. At some point during the course of almost towards the end of, well, September and stuff like that. So anyway, so let's go ahead and climb up and do a talent shroud right here, so that way we can get another Jinjo. So because of that though, I'm not exactly sure how many Jinjos I've got at the moment, but then again though, it has been such a long while. So anyway, so let's go ahead and oh gosh, we have to avoid those specific slots they managed able to shoot out coins as projectiles. And by the way, that for that particular tangent site there, I'm pretty sure that pretty much leads us to the boss fight, if I recall correctly. So, but we do need to acquire a specific collectibles in order to able to actually just to do this. So, anyways, let's go in here. And, oh look, we got ourselves our crazy bouncy castle. But it somehow feels a bit more, well, I don't know about you. Like, for instance, it's not inflatable. But regardless of such though, we'll try to sort that out. But first things first though, we'll try to go ahead and split up. And especially noticeable that we can able to... Oh, okay, so we got ourselves the achievement right there. Which appears to be, well... I think this only occurs when if you like, not only you can able to switch, or you can able to actually just to do with one of those stop and swap items, which, then again, I'll explain more about the stop and swap feature in this game until later. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and then... Oh, God! I forgot about the forms... Oh, Minjo. Okay, so the Minjos are... Usually it's like the antagonist version of the protagonist Jinjos, and because of that though, they manage to hurt you. So because of that though, yeah, that's the only thing I need to classify it. So, anyway, so if you think you're about to be able to save the Jinjo for a bit, but you can now able to attack them, so... Like, for instance, as you notice that, since we actually got the, another move, only exclusive to Banjo, by the way, and because of that, though, you can now able to actually perform an attack. So, by simply able to use a backpack and everything else to be more specific. So, yeah, it does seem look pretty cool and, badass at the same time. So, either way, though, we'll, try to blow up that particular cage to not only get ourselves the next honeycomb extra piece, but also that we can able to actually deal with the forms of the Pump Master too. But unfortunately, we can't do anything with those two combined. So, because, yeah, there are some switches that does require you to split up. So in this case, we'll head back out and find the, oh, Jesus Louise. How come that hammer just managed to hit me like nothing else? Oh, and by the way, something's worth mentioning, I do apologize for that background noise you'd be hearing in the background. Just because, well, obviously it's the brown bin today, brown bin day today. So because of that, though, it's what I classify for something. Although until tomorrow, for my, country's sake, that I'm about to be able to try to sort out the recycling bin. So, yeah, because I'm such a busy man. So anyway, let's just go ahead and, switch over to Kazooie now, and we can able to actually just to take control of her. So, yeah, we'll talk more about the forms of Kazooie on her own later, until later portions of this world. So, anyway, so now we've activated the Pump Master 2 until we're able to actually to inflate the bouncy castle. So that way we can now go inside there by able to actually take on some even more challenges. So. And of course the shock jump pad is usually there as well, so yeah, that's always swell. So now we're done with that, and of course if you really want to go back together, then basically you have to let Kazooie run into Banjo, and yeah, that's pretty much as far as we can say about this move, honestly. But yeah, you get the idea. Okay, quick air right there, because I somehow managed to forgot to fetch my drink, because if you couldn't tell already that the weather condition is pretty damn hot. Like, I think this might actually be the final time for we're able to try to deal with the heat wave in the UK, because I'm sure enough though, since we're still on September, so because of that though, it was expecting to be able to make things a little bit more slightly chilly and cold every once in a while. But either way, so let's go ahead and deal with one of those challenges here. Like, for instance, we are doing with Balloon Burst Game, and basically Gruntilda is gonna tell us how to play the game, and basically what the objectives are. So because of that though, we'll try to take on the Blue Challenge first, and then there's also the another game that only requires Kazooie all by her own, but we'll try to sort it out later. So in this case, let's go ahead and burst out those balloons. So basically, you have to be able to be flying in airborne, by the way, and basically, if you try to shoot those infinite amounts of those golden eggs, by the way, no way you would be able to actually just to try to not need to worry about, you know, running out of ammo and stuff like that. So, Yeah, if you try to shoot the red star balloons, it gives you just only 1 point, but if you shoot the blue ones, it gives you 3, and then the green star ones gives you like 2 points if you manage to burst them, so even then no. Now I'm pretty sure you need to aim for about, I would say 50 points if I recall correctly, even though I wasn't paying attention to the forms of the score requirements, honestly, just because, well, usually relatively speaking, I just got so distracted by the forms of other discussions to make, so even in this case, let's just go ahead and keep on shooting, and then just, well, keep on ranking some more points here and there, so I think that should be enough as it is, so, oh, okay. Yeah, that should be enough. So even then though, 50 points is actually the requirement. So there we go. So if you manage to beat the exact score, then the Jiggy will be all yours. Well, to be more specifically if you try to get on top of the actual bouncy castle. So yeah, let's not play that mini game again, because after all we've already accomplished that. So even in this case, let's go ahead and well, move on to the next game. But of course we do need able to separate, so yeah, we'll try to do that first. So anyways, let's go ahead and yeah, you can't able to actually just do that, but you can only stand on the Banjo's panel until when Kazooie lands on her panel. So, and every once in a while though, is the fact that some of these doors will be closed. Like for instance, that door on the right, that it only shows Banjo and Kazooie requirements. So, alright, so here we go on to the Hoop Hurry game. So because of that, it only requires you to able to get up to 30 points in order to able to complete the game. So yeah, what's cool about Kazooie all by her own is that she can able to actually just well, unfortunately we can't do anything with her at the moment until specifically later on in World 4. Which we're probably not going to talk more about it until specifically next Monday or something. Just because, well, then again, as I mentioned this before, that we'll divide those worlds into 2 parts. Because obviously, those worlds are going to take much longer than the forms of how it does it on, well, generally the first 2 worlds, if I managed to able to get the first visit in time. But then again, we'll talk more about infos on that until whatever we get into later portions throughout or something. So yeah, basically you go through rings. Oh, does that look familiar to you? Oh, wait a second, it's like Superman 64. Except this is a lot of fun. Especially noticeable, it's like, thankfully it controls way better than the stiff movements from Superman 64. But I digress. So basically, as I said earlier, you need to able to get up to like 30 or more points, and if you do so already, then you get another Jiggy. So as long as you weren't able to use the speed shoes like I just used it earlier, then you can probably guarantee you can able to sweep up like no sweat. So yeah, that's pretty fun. Especially noticeable that this section also reminds me of the forms of going through those rings in Clonker's Cavern. Except rather than just trying to deal with the forms of some underwater segments, so instead we're able to actually go inside the bouncy castle itself. So yeah, that's actually pretty swell. So anyways, let's go ahead and get rid of those enemies right here, and hopefully we can able to find the shark jump somewhere, and well, we can able to actually bounce way higher above, and then we can able to grab not only 1 Jiggy from up there, but also another one just over there as well. So that way we'll pretty much guaranteed able to get ourselves 25 Jiggies. So I'm pretty certain that we've only got about 65 Jiggies to go, rather than like 75, because, well, I'll discuss more about that until later on. I'm sure most people already know what the actual highest amount of Jiggies we're able to consider getting. So anyway, so now we're done with that, and actually, kind of think about it, that we can able to actually now probably deal with the forms of, oh really? My jump button does not even work with me half the time, but thankfully we activated quite a few amounts of those warp pads, so that way we can able to actually teleport into some different portions of the actual world, like in the fastest method if possible. So in this case, we'll warp straight into the forms of the outside of Wumba's tent here, so we can able to actually just to deliver her the glow bow right there, so that way we can able to, well, stumble across another transformation. So in this case, it might actually be another new transformation we can transform. And now this is actually pretty cool looking as well. That we're able to transform into ourselves into a van. A van, nonetheless. Like, we actually become a vehicle. So, yeah, that seems pretty cool, though. And, yeah, you can able to actually just, well, drive around, and also you can able to jump as well. So, and by the way, in order able to actually go past for those specific, van gates, you always have to be sure you need to press the X button so that you can able to actually activate the horn. And, that might be pretty useful though, especially noticeable there are some situations, like for instance, that you know with these little slot machine enemies that we can't deal with them as either Banjo or Kazooie by themselves. But, actually I'll show this off later, because first of all, let me just go ahead and drive straight all the way over there, by able to actually not only just try to able to actually just open up the actual the gate right there, but also get ourselves another Jinjo. So because of that, I think we've only got about one more orange variation if I recall, until we basically done with the orange Jinjos basically. So because of that though, but then again, Sony's Jinjo colors are randomized by the way, so anyway, so as you can see, since we actually did manage to deal with the forms of the slot machine enemies, as you can see, as the Van Banjo, and basically you can able to actually just to destroy those slot machines by able to actually give them the tickets. And those tickets can be used in the actual tent, by the way, which we'll save it up until for later, but not now though, because obviously there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff we can do. So in this case, we're able to get all 4 tickets, and sure enough, we did. And let's just see what's in here, and of course we got ourselves the note keys, so thankfully or at least we've pretty much gotten that. So anyways, let's go ahead and grab some more grenade eggs, even though despite the fact that we barely used one for the sake of like, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the forms of trying to able to, oh god, it's pitch black in here almost. But at the very least we can able to actually grab some more eggs and what have you, until we able to actually just, well, pretty much a guarantee about the fact that we can able to actually just to able to farm some more egg ammo for, you know, until eventually at this point in time. So, oh, it's a, oh god, that's a fake one. I totally noticed that was a fake one, because obviously that, every time you see these sparks coming above from the forms of Jinjo's head, basically that actually represents that not only they are evil, but also that they are fake. So, yeah, something you need to keep them classified for able to actually pay attention to that visual identity for them, so anyway, so now we're done with that, and now let's go ahead and hit on to the forms of the, so that segment right there, and of course we do need to able to pay here by, well, only requires you to able to become Van Banjo in order to able to do it, because it has a lot of, well, coins inside of that particular van, or dollars, as what's known on the actual, the icon on the side of the actual thing, so, and this means if you do manage to pay Gruntilda for, you know, just try to able to pay here, that we can able to go inside the Inferno, which, kind of thing about it though, it appears to be in, well, the lava environment right there. So yeah, pretty much expected. So either way though, let's just go ahead and, I don't think there's anything we can do up there until we need to able to try to sort that out. So, and of course there's another, van icon right there, so we can able to actually just horn through it, and we can probably pretty much guarantee to get ourselves another Cheeto page book, or another Cheeto page, as far as I like to say about this for the time's sake. So, and I'm pretty sure we've only got one more Cheeto page left until we're able to actually guarantee that not only do we get up to 10 Cheeto pages and stuff like that, but also that we pretty much guarantee we're able to actually get all 3 of them. So anyways, I'm pretty sure we're done with the actual the van transformation for a while, until specifically later on, until whenever we take control of Mumbo Jumbo for a moment. So in this case, we'll probably head back into well, outside of the Mumbo's skull. So I believe Mumbo's skull was actually like almost nearby, so, yeah, that pretty much expected as such, so... Anyway, so, before we do anything, we need to grab, another Globo, which, thankfully, the Globo is just almost right near to, you know, Mumble's, skull, so that way we can able to actually just not to deal with the forms of a lot of huge exploration, unlike several other items, like, you know, the Cheeto pages, and especially noticeable with some notes, or music notes to collect, and also that's, some other, parts worth noting for, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and, actually couldn't think about it, though. I just realized that maybe because I'm used to with the forms of watching the actual other playthroughs of the game, I just realized that one of those NPCs do manage to locate on these different spots, depending if you're able to actually go into a new file or what have you. So, yeah, I just realized that I just almost get confused by this, because, well, I think I've already saw one of those NPC characters manage to wander around in the Bounty Castle segment, but usually, relatively speaking, that some of these NPC characters might able to wander off in some random areas, if depending on what file you go into. So maybe I'm guessing that correctly. So either way, though, enough about that distraction, and let's just go ahead and deal with the forms of well, actually, gotta think about it though, is the fact that maybe we can probably activate the shock jump pad, and that way we can able to actually reach up there. But here's the thing, if we try to able to let go of the switch at all, basically this happens. The actual shock jump disc will be break. So yeah, kind of similar to the forms of how it does it on well, you remember the forms of one of those jiggies we need to obtain in Banjo-Kazooie in Grunty's Grand Tortoise lair? That we do need able to require a speed shoes in order to do it. But in this game specifically this time around, thanks to the forms of the split up ability, that way we can able to actually just to, well, do some separate cooperations here and there. So, and of course, thankfully, if you try to able to use shock jump with Kazooie, it actually works. So in this case though, we'll just try to able to go all the way higher up onto that spiral sliding segment, while trying to avoid the actual the flammable NPC enemies and stuff like that. So yeah, you just get out to jump over them. In fact, it does remind me of one of those mini games in Mario Party Star Rush by the forms of Corkscrew Climb, except the fact that, well, basically we have to avoid a lot of fireballs, as you can see right there, that I somehow accidentally got hit by it. But thankfully, we did manage to make our way to the top. So, in this case, there we go. Another Jiggy for the win. So, yeah, pretty awesome at the same time, too. So, in this case, now we're done with that. Oh, jeez, that was painful. And especially noticeable that, again, that just like in Banjo-Kazooie, unfortunately, though, that there won't be any invincibility frames if you get hit, or in this case, if you get slammed, or even in this case, you might be able to actually fell down, so... yeah, unfortunately, no invincibility frames at all again, so... oh, jeez, I think my leg is actually getting a little bit pain right here, but regardless of such... oh, another extra honeycomb piece, just onto the Mumble skull, so... yeah, pretty awesome, so... anyway, so let's go and meet up with Mumble Jumper again, and sure enough, we're able to give him another glow bow, so... that way we can able to actually do some more stuff with him. So, after what I've done with, you know, more stuff with Mumble Jumbo, then I can basically able to actually end off the first segment of Witchyworld at the moment. Although, at the moment right now, that's much like the forms of how it does it on the second world, I don't think there's any possibilities I can probably be able to... well, just try to able to do the 100% run through of this world in one run, because obviously there might be some other worlds that usually requires like backtracking and stuff. So because of that, yeah, there's not much else to say about this for the most part, because obviously that already explained things a lot. So anyway, so let's go and well, for whatever reason, I just somehow managed to able to get distracted right there. Although we'll have to admit though right away is that you have to be exactly close whenever you're trying to able to deal with enemies as Mumble Jumbo for his wand. So yeah, something to keep in mind. So anyway, so let's warp into the space zone, And because of that though, I'm guessing I get the strong sense of feeling that one of those mumbo jumbo pads is actually right there. So, and basically we can able to activate the power to, well, just trying to power up the actual, one of those attractions that we can able to actually interact with, so... Oh, and by the way, something's worth mentioning, you're gonna be hearing dooble, 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 dooble voice clip every single time you get able to activate something like this, so... But anyways, now we've activated that, and also, as far as this is already powered up, so this means that, well, we can now able to actually just, well, do some more stuff on that specific part, and especially noticeable that the light actually powers up, so... Because normally, you won't be able to actually see anything if you manage to able to actually just first experience in the area for the first time. But then it turns out if you do manage to able to power up the actual, I would say like a power up, the power generator or something. That way you can able to actually just, well, lit up the entire attractions like that. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and continue things on here. So, although, usually relatively speaking, I forgot to mention about this, about something, and that's the fact that, unfortunately though, unlike in Banjo-Kazooie, that's basically, if you somehow leave the game, while you simply go back to the title screen, there is no additional cutscene if you manage to able to get the game over, because, well, it kinda does the same thing in the forms of the beginning portion of Banjo-Kazooie, that if you manage to get to Spiral Mountain, and if you try to able to leave the game, it does say game over only, then it doesn't show us the actual additional cutscene if you manage to able to leave the actual game and stuff like that, so... Yeah, that might be something worth classifying for noticing this, especially I don't feel like trying to show off the extra stuff as far as I'm concerned, so So there we go, we basically power up 2 of those generators right there. I know it's definitely one more, but I'll save that until for later, because I'm afraid I don't think I've got enough time for that, so... Especially that, because we've already able to done quite a few stuff here and there, especially noticeable that, well, then again, that we don't think we can able to guarantee that, oops, that's the wrong, warp pad, but we can able to actually just hit back into the outside portion of, Mumbo's, skull, so that way we would be able to actually go back inside there, and try to switch over to Banjo and Kazooie at the same time, so, yeah, that might be something worth knowing for. So, anyways, let's go ahead and sit on the throne. And we're able to switch back to Banjo and Kazooie. So, let me just deal with that enemy, even though it doesn't have anything inside him. So, oh well, no big deal. But at the very least, though, is the fact that sometimes that it doesn't seem to spawn those honeycomb health every once in a while.